This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lachtech Musar podcast. It's been a little bit of a break, but Adar Purim is all about Hadar Kibul Mahava, and if there's ever a time to be mechazik, to get back into something, Adar Purim time is the time, especially after Moshe Rabbeinu's Yoeitz, Zayin Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu was the teacher of all of Klal Yisrael, and there's a chizik that we should restart with that chizik, learning from Moshe Rabbeinu, who taught all of the Torah that we have till today. And our Bad Dvarim Tzrichim Chizik, and one of them is Talmud Torah, and Talmud Torah is Keneged Kulam. So Moshe Rabbeinu's chos and the chos of the Hibin Adar. Let's get back into the Heilige words, the Torah of the Pele Yoeitz. Says the Pele Yoeitz, we are on page 537 in the Art Scroll. We're on day 195 of the Hachseik program. We're going to start a new Ois. We're in the middle, we're beginning Drushim, which means public discourses. And over here, what we're going to focus on is that it is imperative, it's beneficial to teach Torah to the masses. As we know, learning for oneself, for one's own self-refinement, self-character, and to enrich and perfect one's own life. That's done through the Torah, but there's a specific and very unique virtue that can only be achieved when Torah is taught to the rabbim. Says the Pele Yoeitz, it is virtuous to make known the decrees of Hashem's teachings, meaning Hashem's Torah, through public discourses, exactly what we're doing right now. And the Pele Yoeitz says that exactly what we're doing, we're darshaning, we're reading out of a sefer. He's going to delineate, he's going to map out the exact reasons why it's better to darshan, it's better to teach from a printed sefer as opposed to lecturing by heart from one's own thoughts. And he goes through a bunch of them right now. And each one, they're all very important. One who speaks without a text is destined to become arrogant because he's quoting psukim, he's quoting chazals, as opposed to one who has to read out of a sefer. He's actually reading, there's no chashash of arrogance. Very interesting. One who darshans by heart, if he says good things, it's possible that people are going to become jealous of him, and there's going to be a ayin hara, even though he's doing the right thing and he's teaching Torah, but a person always has to be aware of ayin hara, and if he seems so polished and articulate and dynamic and giving over deep ideas and teaching the masses, and it's all from himself, a person, chas v'shalom, can put an ayin hara. If a person's teaching from himself, he's making himself vulnerable in a sense that a person can say, hey, you said this, you said that. But if he's reading a sefer, he says, I'm reading a Gemara, I'm reading a Medrash, I'm reading a Chazal, I'm reading a Pele Yoeitz. Daled, the fourth reason, all things considered, it says the Pele Yoeitz, how can a person really innovate new teachings of his own? The Torah, this Musar world is saturated. There's so much text, there's so much Torah literature, Musar, that already has been put out by the Rishonim, by the Achronim, by the later Achronim, by the even contemporary, but what can we possibly add? Everything has already been said. So you might as well go to the originals. You might as well go to the Makar. And says the Pele Yoeitz, and this is Pele Yoeitz talking, and he's talking about the previous generations, and he's saying he even referenced himself, that it's certain that like a monkey is to man, we are to them. So why would a person have to come up with his own novel chidushim and approaches. Just look at the Mrs. Shajarm, look at the Chavis Avavos, look at the Derech Hashem, look at the Orchas Tzadikim, look at the Chumash, Ramban, Arachaim. You don't have to go too far. All of the Torah is there already. So read out of the Sefer, quote the Sefer, but to come up with your own ideas, says the Pele Yoeitz, what's the reason? There's no need. Hey, the fifth reason, either says the Pele Yoeitz that a person who has Yireh Shamayim, such a person, his words are heard. And therefore, if you quote the Rishonim, then all those people certainly had Yireh Shamayim. And then the whole point of a person darshaning, the whole point of a person trying to give over Musar, Torah thoughts, ideas, the whole point is that it should ignite change. It should spark movement, real growth. So the Torah that one's saying over should come, it should be sourced from real, virtuous, God-fearing people. So if you're quoting those people, then it's packaged, it's coming from that source of Yireh Shamayim as opposed to ourselves. You read this Adoros, we are a far, far cry. As Pele Yoeitz himself said, we are like a koif bifnei adam, we're like a monkey to a man. So you might as well go to the source that's saturated, that within it is contained all the kedusha and all the Yireh Shamayim of those people, which is very interesting. We see that if you're quoting a Ramban, you're quoting Arachaim, you're quoting something from the Chavetz Chaim, or the Egedech Sam Sofer, you're not just saying over their words, but it comes along. It's a beautiful thing. It comes along with their Yireh Shamayim, it comes along with their personality, it comes along with their connection to Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we see from here, because the Pele Yoeitz is telling us that when we say it over from them, then we're connecting, where there's a flow of the Yireh Shamayim of that giant, that tzaddik as well. Vav, what's the sixth reason? Keep a makom sheitrach v'yotzim zman mal esader drush. Instead of toiling and spending time to arrange one's own novel discourse, his own novel drasha, it would be better to acquire for himself expertise and knowledge in halachic rulings that he doesn't know yet. So he's saying, better spend your time, learn halacha, make sure you're doing everything right. What's the whole point of darshaning, of giving over? It's because you want to help others. But it says the Pele Yoeitz that before you tell over others, make sure that your daily life, that your halacha observance, that your Hilchas Shabbos is brushed, your Basa B'chalav, your Hilchas Nil, everything, you know it and you're doing it proper, and spend as much time as you can on that before giving over to others. The seventh reason and the final reason is that when one relates a drasha written in a sefer, you get an extra element, you get an extra mitzvah besides sharing Torah, spreading and helping others grow, but you are also doing a kindness with the author because the author's lips move in the grave when the Derish is citing his Torah thoughts. And indeed, what would have been the point of them writing their words in a sefer if there's no one that expounds them and there's no one that seeks to go after them? So there's an extra added dose of mitzvah, of opportunity, of chesed, of gemilas chasadim, when one reads from another sefer as opposed to saying over his own Torah.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.